Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 10 Futures, and today we're going to talk about, will Daryl actually be the one to end Alpha's reign? I know there's a lot of mixed predictions out there. I'm going to give you my argument on it, so we're going to funnel it down a little bit. Before we get into this, I do want to say a special shout out to the group last night participating in Play Dead Live. You can see the Patreon army up on the screen. Coming 2020, those are going to be the 2-hour segments, but over the next few months, we're still going to be play testing a little bit like we did on Friday night. If you were not here last night, go back and watch the playback. Be here on Friday night. It's just a lot of fun. We're also in the process of updating our Patreon list. Since we've been doing Play Dead Live, I've had several people that want to come on as Patreons, so there's a lot of moving names and doing some things, but the support has been absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for everything that you guys are doing. We're going to talk about that probably a little bit in today's stream, because you guys know on Saturday, it's a little bit of, certainly we want to funnel some things down. We want to get to our topics, but it's a very casual stream. It's Coffee with Killshot. It's a little bit more probably energetic because I'm not a coffee drinker, but I do make a commitment on Saturday morning to have a cup of just straight black coffee so I can be super wired for these, because we did a lot of stuff on Freestyle Friday. It was a very long stream. It's probably 2 hours and 15 minutes. But the Play Dead Live portion last night, Rolex is the official timekeeper. Green Team, if you guys could do me a favor, show a little love for our very own David Rolex in the house. He probably knows the time a little bit better than I do, but I would say last night was probably the longest Play Dead Live segment that we've done. It's called Mud to Mayhem, and a lot of the ideas that were in there were suggested by several of you in the fan page. I know Tracy Bleds. There's Tracy in the house. Tracy actually early in the week suggested that we use a mudslide, and I had a pre-written scenario of some different things and some pictures, and I was like, that sounds wonderful. It's something that we want to see. It creates that element, so check it out. Really, really good stuff last night, but that must have been at least 45 minutes of the stream. So thank you. Appreciate everybody being there. We'll jump around and talk about that a little bit. If you guys see Tommy, it used to be Tommy the Man Bun, but we're calling him the Rock now, like a rock. Tommy, where's Tommy? You might still be hurting from last night. But yeah, some questionable decisions that were made last night. There were some good ones, but there were a few questionable ones in there. All right. So if you guys saw a little bit of the summary that I provided, is there are some exits that are going to happen this year. We know that. It appears right now that the Michonne exit is tied to Rick. Maybe Virgil is involved in that. We talked a little bit last night about Rosita speculation. Many of you were on board, said, look, Rosita's gone. It's just a question of how she's going to be gone. And I know in some aspects we talked about Rosita being a second lineup or a second Pike scene. And now we're really starting to kind of wrap our heads. Oh, that didn't sound good. I was going to say wrap our heads around, but you can't really say that with a Pike scene. That's a bad Freudian slip there. We're starting to speculate, I guess. We'll just use the word speculate. That Rosita could get Andrea's death. That she could be what kind of... Look, there's a whole lot of walkers out there. I mean, we can't ignore that. And you've got... This is an evil like they've never faced. You've got some dissension on the inside. You got some lack of trust. I know many people don't trust Negan. I'm okay with Negan, but I do think that there's a traitor or two in the midst. I also think, though, that Alpha and the Whispers, clearly we're going to see a whole different level of evil out of them and probably a second Pike scene. But even if you take some of those Whispers out, you got hundreds and hundreds of walkers out there. What do you do? How, and those of you that know the Andrew storyline, if you were in that situation, and if you know Andrew's storyline, you'll probably say that. But if you don't, how do you get rid of all those walkers? What's your strategy? What are you going to do to, when you're outnumbered, not just by 50, 60 Whispers, but then they got a whole army of several hundred, maybe even 1,000 backups. You can't fight that, and they got a way to control them. They got a way to tame them. Imagine somebody attacking you, and they had like 50 tigers, and they were tiger trainers. You can't fight that. So the Whisper's real ability here, it's not that the walkers like them. It's not like they've got them tamed. It's that they have them under control. So if you're going to take that control away from them, there's a couple of things that you can do. Linda's like, I'm climbing a tree. All I got to do is climb a tree, and then they go after somebody else, and I can jump down. And we saw a little bit of some branch and some limbs and some things last night. I mean, I got a question. Did Sheila ever make her bow and arrow? We never got back to the bow and arrow last night. But I don't want to give it totally away if you guys didn't see all of Play Dead live. But we literally had someone with a tree branch and a couple of people trying to use their shirts to make a rope and throw them in, and another person that might have been making a bow and arrow. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't think we fully got to that one. She had to run. Yeah, she got in trouble. She didn't get a chance to finish it. One of the things that we did talk about, though, with Play Dead Live is how, after days and days, we're still going to be talking about it because it's very, when you see the pictures and the visuals and the decision making, and a couple people messaged me this morning and said, Kills, we had a great time. I had my whole family there. I know Emmy had, she had her mini gamer there, and there's people that are not just in the scenarios, but are playing along. If you guys watched some of the chats last night, the audience is like, just run. Don't beat down the walker. It's like you're watching a movie unfold before your eyes. And I think one of the real what's important to me is that you're seeing some pictures, but it's not a movie that's laid out for you. It's your own imagination. So all the little tidbits of what Tommy's doing and what Ron's looking like, you have like you probably have this visual of what Ron Burgundy Moore looks like. Even if you've never seen him, it's like you just kind of, the group. I mean, I'm running the campaign. I got Sheila over there thinking like, yeah, if she had a knife, she'd be sharpening some arrows. You got 2 or 3 people being attacked behind her. I got to get this one arrow ready. And then she's just going to shoot that one arrow into the group if she ever gets it done. But yeah, check it out. Lynn, your dogs were listening because my voice calms them down. Okay. Well, some have said my voice puts them to sleep. If you have dogs that have insomnia, yeah, just put the earphones on them, and we'll see if we can rock them to bed. So, the strategy here is Rosita is, I wouldn't say Rosita's a top 5 character on the show, but she certainly is in the upper echelon. She's had a good story. She's been a badass. They haven't really given her as much of that role, and I think it's time that they give her that exit. And we saw the picture last night. She's holding the baby. I know some of you thought that, hey, maybe Father G, maybe Father Not the Father's gone, or maybe something happened to Sadiq, or something where it's got Rosita upset, it's got Rosita scared, and instead of Rosita getting a Pike scene, which I thought, hey, Christian Serratos probably doesn't care. She wants to go out in a big, big, epic way. I mean, let me ask you guys. If you guys, it's a rhetorical question, but I'll ask anyway. If you guys were a star on The Walking Dead and you had to leave the show, would you prefer to leave as Glenn and or Abraham? Or would you prefer to leave as Morales? Think about that for a second. Because it's kind of a double-edged sword. Darkstar says, give me Glenn's death. I'm talking about if you're an actor, right? If you're on the show. And here's why I bring this up. Because some people, like me, I've only watched that one time. So watching that, but it was such an epic scene that Stephen Yeun really enjoyed being a part of that. And I think Rosita is the same way. I think she wants a death that is going to go down in the history of Walking Dead. I know I would. I would want to be kind of that person that, you know what, maybe it was gruesome, maybe people are going to talk about it, but it is, Glenn's death to this day still probably goes down as the most epic death on the history of the show. Would you agree with that? All right, we got a super chat in the house. What's up, E-Beach? So let's estimate how many significant deaths will happen in Season 10. I'm all for that. So, Michonne, not a death. Rosita, a death. Beta, a death. Alpha, a death. All right, so now at this point, all we have on the list is Rosita from the A team. So is it safe to say Ezekiel's done? Ezekiel gets a pike? Father G? Yeah, I think Ezekiel's done too. And initially I thought Rosita and Ezekiel would both get pikes because of the comic. But the more I've kind of heard some of the chatter around Rosita, I'm thinking like, that makes a lot of sense because Andrea's death and leading those walkers over the cliff was such a big deal. So is there someone else that you could see that is more deserving of that? I mean, I don't think Ezekiel's going to lead a group. He could. I'm not saying it's totally not going to happen. But I see Ezekiel's getting that pike, which is really going to move Daryl and really going to move Carol. I don't think Eugene's going anywhere. I think Eugene is the link to the Commonwealth, Eric. I think Eugene is not only a link to the Commonwealth, but I also think that he's going to be the de facto parent of Coco. He's going to be the guardian of Coco. I could have said guardian. It's like last night when we had the debate on what an anti-villain is. It's a hero, I think. I still think it's a hero. So instead of de facto parent, I probably should have used the word guardian. Baby nanny. There you go. So Ella Smith says agree about Ezekiel and Father G as well. So here's the thing, Eric, if you want to debate the deaths, what would have to happen for Eugene to gain custody of Coco? We're going to funnel this down. Yep. Bring out your funnels. There's three things in my mind that have to happen for Eugene to have Coco. First person that can give me all three things, I'm going to give you a kills coin. Kel? All right, let's do... All right, first two that typed it, Ron Burgundy and Will Sykes. Kel, can you add them to the ledger? I agree. The three people that die, Ron typed it first, Will actually spelled it out. Father G, Sadiq, and Rosita all got to go. I think, Eric Beach, to answer your question, those three will die. And Eugene is resourceful. Eugene will be there. Eugene will be there long term. But if Rosita dies, then the baby goes to Father G in my mind. If Father G dies, Sadiq, the daddy, would take care of the baby. All three die. Eugene, the nanny, gets that. And I think, honestly, I like Eugene's character. And I think he can add an element to humor in the future of taking care of the baby that we didn't see with Rick and Judith. And that we didn't see with Maggie. So think about it. We've had all these parents, and they've been fighting for their lives or super serious parents. They haven't even really had time to be parents. Eugene, I would think, would prioritize that. Rick didn't have time to spend with Judith. Maggie has taken care of baby Herschel, but she had baby Herschel and she was hanging people. She was hanging Gregory. So, and Timex, Rolex, I'm sorry, my slip up there. I agree with you. What's up, Angie Homan? Hey, I see Michelle M. Angie Homan. I'm glad to have the group together. Good to see all of you guys, and thank you for being here on a Saturday morning. Because Saturday morning, as you guys know, in the past we kind of labeled it. It's for our international audience, but it's not just for our international audience. Because some of you, hey, West Coast, it's 8:00 in the morning. You guys are getting them having breakfast. Glad you put it on. Some people on the East Coast, a lot of people are working. They're like, hey, I'm going to play this while I'm working. So just want to say, absolutely love each and every one of you guys, and thank you so much for being here and being a part of this channel. Absolutely would not be here without each and every one of you. So if we know, because we funneled this down, that Michonne's leaving, Rosita could potentially get Andrea's death and save the group from the walkers much later on. Alpha and Beta probably die. Now, there's a part of me that wants one of them to live and just kind of run away. Or is always that evil lurking? I don't know. It's just I don't like Alpha, but having a bad person out there instead of just going from this bad person to this bad person, this bad person, I wouldn't mind seeing multiple villains. I'm okay with that. But I think Negan will still infiltrate the group. Do you guys agree that Negan goes Whisperer Mask mode and follows a little bit of that comic arc? That he tries to get in on the inside because he's one of the few that actually have the creativity to do it. So I think that story maybe doesn't play out as extensively as the comic, but I think it's going to be a piece of it. And I think it'll serve a couple things. One, it's going to keep the audience on their toes a little bit, those that don't really know what happens from that. And it's going to probably make people question, is Negan turning? Is he going for an easy win? What's he doing? Is he on our team? Is he on their team? I think that's going to play in the background. But I also feel like, and I don't want to steal Carol's thunder, because I know a lot of you think that Carol should get the alpha kill. But I feel like Negan will take out Beta, and Daryl or Carol take out Alpha. So the question really boils down to, do you give that kill to Daryl? I don't want to go political, because we've got enough of that, I think, that we all deal with. However, there is a part of me that tells me Carol decapitating Alpha and picking up her head would be a lot better received than Daryl doing it. Than a fight to the finish between Daryl and Alpha. Would you agree with that statement? That it's a lot easier sell to see two men fighting, whether it's Negan and Beta or Daryl and Beta, and two women fighting, Carol and Alpha, fight to the finish. Carol decapitates Alpha and, has the epic line, wait until such and such gets a load of this. Now, the question is going to be, who is the leader at this point? Wait until who gets a look at this? Who is still there if they use that epic line that Carol would have to appease? And I think we can use that to funnel it down too. Is there somebody that could have been wronged to a point that that line would make sense. Is there somebody back at Alexandria that, I don't know if Carol decapitated Alpha and lifted up her head and said, wait until Daryl gets a look at this. I don't know how well that plays into the story. Wait until Lydia, maybe. If Lydia is because of Henry, possibly. And I'm not saying it has to be used. It may not even be a part of what happens. They could just, hey, it's over, or something along those lines. But I just want to kind of go the extra mile and dig down as much as we can to see if there's a possibility that it plays out that way. Ellis says, I can see Daryl killing Beta, Carol killing Alpha. Yeah, well, there is one thing that we haven't talked about. And this is why I think Daryl could potentially get that arc. Is the knives. Isn't it just a little interesting that Daryl went from super proficient crossbow to amazing with these long knives? I mean, they're not little knives. He is like a knife expert at this point. And that's got to play into the story. Somebody is getting decapitated by Daryl. It's either Beta or it's Alpha. And that's why I want to talk about, will Daryl be the one to, in a fight, maybe saving Carol? Let me get your thoughts on that. We got Valar. Valar with I can't. Some people haven't watched the playback. Just want to say Valar was amazing. Amazing in the Play Dead Live scenario last night. Valar says, hello, 999 Army. Kill Steph. Emmy Kill. Sweet Tommy. Sponsors, Patreon, channel members, and all super chats. And you know what, Valar? I'm going to add one more. And all the PDL participants as well. Because that was absolute madness and absolute fun. And thank you for your creativity as well. If you guys don't know who all was in the scenario last night, and to give you a little bit more incentive to watch it, Mariah Campese, Ron Burgundy Moore, Roxanne, Tommy Manbun, Valar, Deborah Farrell, and Sheila Beasley. Those 7 just absolutely crushed it. It was entertainment, it was panic, it was laughter. It's everything we do. It's everything that I hoped it would be. Magnificent 7. Very nice. We're about 22 minutes. So I got a few more minutes. We'll leave it open for open topics as far as your thoughts on Daryl, Carol, Rosita. Hey, Eric, is that a satisfying enough list? Ellis, Rolex, a couple others have mentioned no. It's going to be a lot more people. Rosita, Beta, Alpha, Ezekiel, Father G. I mean, that's 5. It's 5 pretty big names. And then you add the fact that Michonne's leaving. That's 6 pretty big names that are exiting the show for one season. I think that hits the quota. We know there's going to be some more minor characters that are going to die as well. There's a lot of fighting this season. Julia, I'm not that far in the comics. I don't think there's a second Pike scene, though. It's just something we sort of talked about because the first Pike scene had Ozzy and Henry and, had other people. It didn't have your 2 big characters of Ezekiel and Rosita. So we've all sort of speculated that Alpha is still a little upset and they did trespass and she's going to make a bigger example. I mean, let's speculate for a couple of minutes here. The Pike scene, pretty bad, but it wasn't as gruesome and as bad as it could have been if they would have shown it. And they could have shown elements of it. I mean, they showed the animated heads, and they did show Alpha cut the other dude's head off for like her own person. Do you think there will be things that Alpha will do this season that are worse visually than the Pike scene? And what type of things, this is going to get twisted, but I'm just going to ask the question. This is going to be like a Tommy Man Bun McCandless Freestyle Friday Super Chat, so I'm kind of afraid to open this can of worms. Is there something gruesome that she could potentially do that would impact us more, disturb us a little bit more than what she did last season? And if you have ideas, I hesitantly say post them. I agree, Rolex. The Whisper scene was worse. Oh, Ron. Oh, Ron. Oh, no. I can't even read that. That's beyond disturbing. Ooh. Coco threatened by Alpha. Ooh, I don't know that I should have asked this question. This is going to bother me. That, Tammy, that I agree with. So, if Alpha starts killing people and wearing the fresh faces and the masks of some of the stars of the show, that, an Ezekiel mask, oh man, some of those characters, Tammy, I'm with you on that. I think that would add a whole different level of gore and twisted and gruesome. Honestly, I like that. I really like that. Because Gamma is wearing Enid's clothes. You're right. So what if they go beyond just using their attire to actually using their faces? Just as a, a few people are missing, and then you have that standoff with Alpha and a few others, and they pull out their masks. It's like, oh, think about that. It's like, where's such and such? We don't know. They disappeared. They're probably okay. They're probably okay. And then you got Daryl and a few others have a standoff with Alpha, and all of a sudden they pull out this Father G face. Oh, no. Yeah, that would be wicked and twisted. If something happens to Coco, yeah, I think Coco's going to be okay, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Coco threatened. That's the storyline I think is going to play up. I think Rosita is going to have to sacrifice herself for Coco, and Coco being the future, the future bloodline of Rosita. And it would be cool. It'd be cool if Coco ends up in like The Walking Dead 3. Like a mini Rosita with some guns ablazing. Like Judith. And imagine us watching the new series next year. And then out of the blue, somebody walks up with like a gun on her shoulder, 2 guns in each holster. The group walks up, it's like, who are you? I'm Coco. Yeah. That would be bad. And we're like, yeah. Rosita Part 2. Rosita the legend. The legend continues. I would. I mean, hey, give these characters a legacy when they're gone. The next generation. All right. Hey, we're at 30 minutes on a Saturday morning for some of us. Really early Saturday for some, and evening for many of you. So, hey, I want to thank all of you guys for being here. I love talking Walking Dead futures. Love talking Play Dead Live. We've hinted at a couple other things that are going to be coming in the very, very near future. I can promise you there will be a karaoke or song-related event that we're going to do. So hold tight for that. I don't want to release all the details of it yet. But if you guys have not seen our Facebook fan page and you don't get a chance to see the schedule, I'll just kind of articulate it here one more time. On Sunday, really Sunday is the Walking Dead day, and sometimes we do countdowns, depends on how dramatic the Fear episode or Walking Dead episode is. We tend to do countdowns a little bit more when Walking Dead's in full season in October. We definitely do reactions. So after the Fear the Walking Dead tomorrow, we're going to log on and get everybody's just kind of unfiltered raw reaction to that. Monday nights is our recap day. Tuesday, random things. We have some predetermined topics where we go in and we just hang out and have some contests. But all these streams, if you participate in them, you have a chance to earn Kills coins. And what Kills coins are, it's like our own virtual currency. It works like a super chat, and it's redeemable on Freestyle Friday. So if you want to get into our brand new live role-playing games, these are adventures that happen. You're included. You shape the story. Your friends, your family, they're sending us messages, pictures. We include all of that, villains, everything. You can use those Kills coins to get in the game or help other people out in the game. We're going to go live with that in January, but we've been playtesting it every Friday night. We did our second campaign, and I haven't heard anything negative from everything I've heard. Everybody's participated, watched it, been involved in it, has just had an absolute blast. So thank you for everything that you guys do, and I will see all of you hopefully tomorrow night for our reactions video. Enjoy your Saturday and Sunday. Don't let drama overtake your life. We need to laugh. We need to do things for each other, and I appreciate everything that you guys do, whether it's showing up for these streams, supporting each other, or many of you that are Patreons and channel members. Absolutely am thankful for every single thing that you guys do. You guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you all tomorrow for some Fear the Walking Dead. Peace.